recording and we're actually all here. So I'd like to say a good evening and welcome to the very first episode of our brand new campaign called The Myths of Gaea. As this episode will be serving as our session 0, there's a few housekeeping topics we wanted to run through just to kick things off so we can jump into the game as quickly as possible. The session 0 is so that our amazing champions, all of the amazing players you see on the screen, will understand that the world and the mythology that they are stepping into, and so that all of our wonderfully sexy and incredibly generous fans will be able to fall in love with the world and the characters they will be rooting for. So, first off, to our audience full of fans, for those of you who are watching us live via our Myths of Gaea campaign Discord server, while the Myth Keeper, that's me, and all of our champions are busy playing this game in the gameplay channel under the Game Time category, which you are currently viewing. You will be able to carry on conversations about the game and things you are watching happening over in the Game Time chat channel. And for those of you who are watching the replays of our game via YouTube, we would love to have you join our community over on Discord and Facebook and become part of the quest along with us. So to give you a little taste of where you can find us, you can start out with rpgstorytelling.com. That's our website. Over on Facebook, we actually have two different possibilities. You can view our actual page, our RPG Storytelling page, and that's facebook.com/RPG Storytelling. And then from there, you can actually access our Facebook group as well, so you can take some part in some of the behind-the-scenes stuff on Facebook. Over on Instagram, our username is RPG_storytelling. And then here on Discord, we also have our Myths of Gaea campaign Discord server, which is where we're actually streaming all of this right now. So, with that taken care of, let's start with some quick introductions and a few quick warm-up questions. I'll go ahead and get us started. My name is Sarah Flowers, and I am the founder, CEO, and creative director of RPG Storytelling LLC, which is the parent company of Myths of Gaea. I will also be the Myth Keeper for this Myths of Gaea campaign. In case you are wondering, the Myth Keeper for this game is essentially the game master or dungeon master of a tabletop role-playing game, such as Dungeons & Dragons, which this is actually part of. Alright, so now that I'm out of the picture, let's go around the video table and let our audience know who you are, a little factoid about yourself, and your character's name, race, and starting class. We'll get into the real character introductions later. But for now, we'll keep it simple. So, since she's here in the same room with me, my wonderful, amazing wife, Amy, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
All right. I'm Amy Flowers. In real life, I am a PhD researcher, currently working on my postdoc at Cedars-Sinai in LA. I will be playing a satyr cleric named Saoirse Deepwoods.
Alright, so satyr cleric named Saoirse Deepwoods. So we'll jump over to Christi next.
Hi, I'm Christi. I am a stay-at-home mom. I've been playing RPGs for well over 25 years now. I will be playing Grayson, a demigod sorcerer. Yeah.
Alrighty. So let's jump over to Amberlee.
Hello, I'm Amberlee. I am a stay-at-home military wife. We live in the desert. We have quite the zoo. I am known in some circles as the mother of cats. A lot of reasons you'll probably be seeing a lot of cats that jump through the screen. and say hi. We also have a dog now. So there's that. We're living the dream out here. And I am playing Ambellina Mori Buttons. She is a demi-goddess, humanoid tabaxi wizard. And, yeah.
Alright. Next up, we have the fiery redhead, Cassie.
Hello, my name is Cassie. I am a huge nerd. I've been born and raised in nerddom. My parents met at a Star Trek convention. I've not known any other way of life. And I've been playing tabletop games for, oh my gosh, what year is it? 7, 8 years now. And I'm absolutely in love with it. And I will be playing Greer Graybane, who is a centaur ranger.
Wonderful. All right, we will jump over to Casey. Casey's not able to be on camera tonight, but he is here with us. Casey. Oh.
Hey, I can do a quick intro though.
Go for it.
Hey, as long as you guys can hear me well. My name is Casey. I'm a nurse, soon to be working as a nurse practitioner. And I will be playing Arius, a Githzerai druid.
Sounds good.
Yep, I'll be better connected soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, Casey. All right, 2 to go. Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie. In addition to this brand of nerddom, I also play a knight on the weekends in real life, in addition to playing a demigod Valkyrie paladin named Freya Valisson. I work at a lot of Renaissance fairs, and it just so happens that my coat of arms is the unicorn, which is very fitting for Freya.
Perfect. All right, and last but not least, Eugene.
Hi, folks. My name is Eugene. Going to say I'm active duty. My wife, Amber, and we're actually both together in the same place, the same household. I'm an aircraft electrical specialist, and I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons off and on for a course of nearly 15 years now, I think. If not, maybe almost longer. I've completely lost track. It's been so long, so thankfully it's not my first rodeo. But in this case, I'm actually going to be playing both a race and a class I have never touched before in my life. So this is going to be me stepping on all sorts of landmines and interesting chaosness that might happen along the way. So in this case, I'm playing Gravewalker, who is a Shadowborn ranger. So we got 2 rangers in the party today. So we'll see what kind of crazy fuckery we're going to unleash.
I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of it. Just knowing all my players, I know there's going to be a lot of it. So, thank you, champions. Are you guys ready to get started?
I guess I should mention, I'm also the goody two-shoes of the party, so I have a lot on my hands.
Wonderful. So, are you guys ready to get started and jump into Section 0 fun stuffs?
Yes.
Let's see, Christi. While I'm going through all the rest of this, can you figure out settings for the gameplay channel? Make sure people can actually get in to watch our video. So while she's doing that, let me keep going. So let's start with some quick rules that we'll be using during this campaign. We'll be utilizing all of the standard rules set out in the Dungeons & Dragons 5e game system. But we will also be using a number of table rules. I can't believe I just did that. Let's see. Make sure that we're hiding non-native responses. There we go. Okay. I'll get that started. Let's see. So we'll be using a number of table rules to help enhance the famous Rule of Cool. For those of you who don't already know, the Rule of Cool is any action or decision taken by the Mythkeeper me, or any of our champions, everyone else, which is any action or decision taken by us which goes against the standard rules in Dungeons and Dragons, but is so cool and serves the story so well that we just have to let it happen. So that's basically what the rule of cool is like we try to have fun with everything, even if it goes against the rules. So some of those table rules we'll be using are things such as the critical success, critical fail rule. What that means is if somebody rolls a natural 20 on their dice or a natural 1, those are critical success, critical fail. It means that it automatically fails or it automatically fails, regardless of any modifiers that go along with it. And just so you know, I do have some fun things planned for both sides of the equation. So if you roll a natural 20, there's going to be a little extra fun thing that goes along with it. But if you roll a natural 1, there's going to be some not so fun things going along. Either way, it'll be fun. So this rule will apply both during combat encounters, as well as on the various ability checks and saving throws throughout the game, to include death saving throws. In terms of potions of healing or other edibles, ingesting it yourself can be done as either an action or a bonus action. But feeding a potion or any other kind of edible, such as Goodberry, to someone else will require you to use your action. You can't use your bonus action for that side of the equation. Let's see. During combat encounters, we will be using the flanking rules, which will allow a champion to roll their attack at advantage if a party member is on the other side of the opponent directly opposite them. Just keep in mind that the bad guys get to do this as well, so you have to be on your guard. A final rule that I'll discuss right now is that each and every session, instead of the Mythkeeper, me, being the only one to hand out inspiration dice to champions who do cool things, there will actually be a pool of 4 inspiration dice that the players can award to one another. But once those 4 inspiration dice have been awarded, there won't be any more given during that session. And those inspiration dice must be used during that session. They won't roll over to the next session. So this is a new rule that I've discovered that I really want to try out and see how it works. So champions, you get to reward each other for doing cool things. So there will be other house or table rules that the champions can utilize, but I didn't want to bore you all with just a list of rules tonight. We want to get into some fun stuff. In games like this, it is entirely possible for champions to begin a romantic relationship with other party members, or even some of the NPCs. In situations like this, I highly encourage the champions to have fun with it and follow the relationship wherever it might lead. But when it comes to possible sexual situations in game, I'll let it progress until a certain point, and then there will just be a fade to black, and we'll transition to something else. Just to protect our younger viewers, make sure they're not confronted with something that they're not quite ready for. In terms of violence, it is highly likely that there will be plenty, and that it may come in several forms. But we will strive to keep them fun and only utilize them to tell our joint story. But there are a few things that will remain off the table, such as acts of violence against children, scenes of rape, or the in-progress act of torture, for instance. There will be other scenarios that might occur that may be added to the list, but just know that we will do what we can to avoid turning this game from a fantasy adventure into a horror show. We'll save Curse of Strahd and games like that for the horror. As a follow-up, aside from the sex and violence scenarios, are there any other things that our players would like to avoid as much as possible, or that are absolute no-nos for them or their champions?
Spiders, for the most part.
Is that going to be
For the most part.
Is that going to be an absolute no, or avoid one?
Well, if you remember, I told you that I think this go round, tarantulas can be discussed. and introduce. But big spiders, I won't do the scream or run away thing, but please don't let it eat me. Just no nightmare fuel.
Yes. There will be certain like caves and things like that, or ruins that might have some spiders, but I'll I'll get to that part in a minute. Does anybody else have any other avoid when possibles or absolute no-nos?
No, I think I'm pretty solid in the most part.
Anyone else? Alrighty.
I mean, I'm in the habit of just like covering my head when I need to. So
Okay. That works. So I'll make sure to incorporate the spiders and anything else that comes up during the gameplay into my to be avoided or absolute no-nos list. If I do happen to run into a scenario where an item on the avoid when possible list comes into play, such as Amberlee's fear or hatred of spiders, I will let that player know well in advance so that they can either prepare themselves for the scenario or so that we can find a workaround and just avoid it completely. So I always work with my players trying to make sure that they are taken care of. So I suppose you all are probably wondering what separates Myths of Gaea apart from all of the other Dungeons & Dragons game worlds. Well, here's the short and simple of it. In a lot of Dungeons & Dragons games, the world and mythology is based on a lot of fictional mythologies and histories that are, at best, only lightly influenced by some of our world's ancient mythologies, while also taking place on a fictional planet somewhere way out in the universe. Our game, Myths of Gaea, on the other hand, takes place on an alternate reality version of our very own planet Earth, which is also known as Gaea by the ancient Greeks. We are also utilizing the actual mythologies that were developed by the ancient Greeks and Celtic cultures. This means that during our games you might come across the likes of Zeus, Athena, Aphrodite, Dionysus, and Hades from Greek mythology, as well as Danu, Lu, Aran, Bridget, and the Morrigan from Celtic mythology. You'll also get to encounter creatures like the Pegasus, unicorns, centaurs, dragons, the Banshee, and maybe even, if we're really lucky, the cute and cuddly three-headed Cerberus. We might even get to visit some of the mythical locations that a lot of us know about, such as Mount Olympus, Tirnanog, Hades, and maybe even the lost city of Atlantis. Nothing in this game is off the table when it comes to our planet's ancient mythologies, but we will always endeavor to remain true to the actual mythologies and legends that we explore in this game, albeit in a fictional usage. So, without further ado, let's take a trip 42,000 years into the forgotten annals of history. Are we ready?
Yeah.
I'll take
absolutely.
Here we go. We were letting you talk.
Oh.
Do it again. Yeah.
I'm sorry, my sniffer decided to break right just.
All good. So, it took more than 4 billion years for the planet to form, for the land to separate itself from the sea, for atoms to form cells, which eventually gave rise to plant life and living creatures, for countless numbers of creatures to be born, live, die, and become forgotten memories of the past. But it has only taken 2,000 years for sentient, self-aware life forms to emerge from the retreating ice and glaciers as the Great Freeze finally came to an end. 2,000 years for those life forms to develop into communities, develop agriculture and animal husbandry, create civilizations and kingdoms, and learn to understand the differences between gods and devils, good and evil, friend and foe. For most, the world is still brand new, but for some, only the outside world is still young and barbaric. And for an even smaller few, the eons and epochs have been merely a single skip of a rock on a pond, galaxies wide. As we close in on the present year, 1,975 years after the Great Freeze, or AGF for short, we find ourselves on the island continent of Haselios, one of several continental landmasses on this great planet. Haselios, the homeland of the ancient guardians against possible tyranny and corruption of the gods who created them. These ancient guardian dragons, Frezena, the Eternal One, being chief among them, were instrumental in negotiating the development of the Council of Emeralds, a round table of rulers from the 22 kingdoms, dynasties, and empires of the continent of Haselios. As we dig deeper, we uncover Kragminster, the capital city of the Bregala Empire, led by the young Empress Stefania Afra, and the current seat of the Council of Emeralds. Among the thousands of citizens of this great city, we find a number of individuals who are about to discover just how not alone they truly are in this unforgiving world. To the adventurers and champions of this modern age, welcome to the hidden and forgotten pages of history. Welcome to the myths of Gaea. And now that we are in our world, let's dive a little bit deeper. So as you see on the map in front of you, for those of you that are in our Discord chat, you won't necessarily be able to see the map, but when you go to watch the YouTube version, you will see all the map and all the pretty faces and everything. We are starting off in the Bregala Empire, which is on the western coast of the eastern island of Haselios. As we zoom in, we find the city of Kragminster, a large city, hundreds of thousands of residents, both inside the walls and outside the walls. The city was originally founded 200 years after the Great Freeze started to subside. It started as a small wooden fort, but slowly grew. Nearly 2,000 years later, it is one of the most pristine cities on the entire continent. So as we zoom in on the city of Kragminster, we find a small number of individuals who each have a destiny all their own. So let's start. We're going to go around the table. So you've already introduced your character, their race, and their class. Now let's find out why they are here in Kragminster. We're going to start, once again, with Saoirse. Go ahead and tell us what brought you to Kragminster, and what are you hoping to accomplish here?
So Saoirse left Tirnanog on a mission to help find out why more people from this mortal plane are finding their way accidentally into the Fey realms. So her and 3 other clerics went in separate directions from one of the portals and just sort of started looking for clues. And she ended up in Cragminster from the direction that she went. And she is here resting and trying to find any new information that she can.
Wonderful. All right. So I'll get into some little vignettes here in a moment, but I want to go through the rest of our champions to see what brought them here. But I won't touch on every champion quite yet, because we do have some secrets in store. Let's jump over to Gray. What brought you to the city?
I'm collecting a debt that is owed on behalf of my mothers.
Mothers, you say? This sounds like an interesting situation. Can't wait to find out more about them.
They're fantastic. Best mother that anyone could ever desire.
Every mother is perfect. All right. Let's see. Let's jump over to Ambellina.
Well, of course, a city is like this is just perfection for, well, shiny goods that one must collect. But, you know, her, I guess Apo's main mission right now is trying to find some creatures that she's got a sanctuary she's got to build, but you know she's gotta find some things. She wants to expand her knowledge on the creatures. Granted, she loves cats, but you know she wants to get knowledge on all kinds of creatures, and you know, gotta find a lot of powerful gems and stuff, and educate herself on wizardry, because she wants to do it all. Just a thing. And food. Food is going to be life. We're gonna have to stop at every place to try and sample all of the food from all over.
So, as the great Taliesin Genevieve of Critical Role fame once said, life eats life to live. I love it. All right. We'll do one more champion right now, and I'll save the other two for what's going to happen a little bit later, just because they've got an interesting story in front of them. So, Freya, what brought you to the city?
So Freya has just, within the last week or so, finished her last stint of paladin training on the western isle of Plegos. And since then, she has felt this pull kind of tugging her toward something. She doesn't know what. In Cragmeister. This is her first time without an obvious purpose. She's used to carrying out orders for the Order of the Valkyrie. But as of now, she is following her own path. And as essentially a farm kid from a small town, she's not quite sure what to make of this grand city and all its inhabitants.
feeling she's going to find some wonderful adventure very soon.
Well, that's exactly what she's looking for.
Good. Because we all know adventure is the best thing in the world.
Absolutely. Freya would wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment.
Definitely. All right. And we'll do one more champion, and then we'll save Greer and Val for just a few minutes. Arius, what brought you to the city? Is there somewhere? Let's see. Hopefully he's able to still hear us. Okay. Well, we will hold off on Arius, and when he's able to join us, we'll have him jump in. But let's see. So each of the 4 or 5 of you, are currently in the area near the Sacred Chalice, a local tavern of some repute, some ill repute, but it is a well-known tavern here in the southwestern side of the city, at the base of the cliff where the Lyceum of the Ancients stands. The Sacred Chalice, a local watering hole that has been home to many people over the years. And as you're walking by, some heading north towards it, some heading south towards it, or past it, or even through it. But as you get closer, you hear a little distance behind it, closer towards the stone gate, the massive, well-armed gate of the entire walled city. You hear a loud commotion, such as small explosions, things crashing, things falling, things being thrown. Do you choose to go investigate?
Sure, but as I'm stuffing my pockets with food and various things running without way.
The rest of you?
Saoirse looks a bit sadly at whatever she was eating, and then rushes out to see what's going on.
Has my video... Okay, it unfroze. We're good.
You're good.
I was frozen there for a moment. That sounds like exactly the sort of thing that Freya would ride toward immediately.
Got it.
I mean, who doesn't love a good show?
Exactly.
Take a drink and saunter over.
This is definitely
Yeah.
going to be a show. So, Saoirse, as you're heading south towards the stone gate, you are the first to arrive at the scene. The first thing you see through a window of a stables, door to the stables closed. The first thing you see through this window is a large, huge, hulking figure, maybe 15 feet tall, possibly taller. And you can hear various grunts and other sounds of activity, heavy activity, fighting. You see a second figure, a little bit shorter, but it looks like these two figures are fighting against one another. As you stand there watching, a second person arrives. Freya, you are the second person to arrive at the scene.
Well, Freya is going to ride up, still mounted, for that height advantage that she has, well on horseback, and take in the circumstances and see whether she can discern the nature of this scuffle before deciding whether she's going to intervene or not.
Saoirse is going to try to look a little closer. There's something familiar about the big creature, but she can't quite put her finger on it. And she can't quite see the other figure closely enough, so she's going to try and get close without getting too close so she can see what's going on.
Got it. So as these two figures inside the stables continue to battle against one another, along comes young Ambellina, just curious to see what's going on. And just as you're kind of crossing in front of the entryway, through the door, never actually opened, but through the door, comes crashing Greer. Tell them what they see as you come crashing through this door.
Did you say me? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Everyone sees a rather tall centaur come just bashing through this door. Two blades in either arm. One kind of has a green sheen to it. The other is onyx black. Completely looks focused, but also annoyed and done. And just beelines it straight for this fray and is attacking the large figure, slashing at its ankles.
Well, the other creature hasn't exited yet, and you didn't exactly walk out on your own. You were actually thrown through the door, landing atop Ambellina.
Oh, was I?
When she
Okay.
comes through the door, do I recognize her?
Give me a perception check.
A part of her lands on me.
Her side and back side.
Her butt?
Yeah, that area would work. So Saoirse,
I can't quite put my finger on it
you
now.
can't quite put your finger on it, but there's something extremely familiar about this centaur.
So did Freya see poor little Ambellina just get partially squished by a centaur?
Oh, I'm
Okay. So
I'm
at
going to
that
be like,
point-
what the fuck?
At that point,
Get your ass off of me. I'm going to put a
Freya
fireball in
will-
your butt.
swing her right leg over the front pommel of her saddle and drop to the ground, unsling the shield from the saddle bow, and go and see if she can untangle this pile
Got it.
and help the poor squished.
Seeing
What
that action.
what does Ambellina look like? I guess we didn't get
Ambellina
to
is
describe her
about-
characters.
Ambellina is about 5'2". She's got cat ears, red cat ears with piercings on them. Red hair, porcelain skin, green purple cat eyes, And she's rolling up, tail flicking, ears just kind of pinned back. She's got, cat canine teeth, and she's hissing at your direction, going, "Hey, chef! Ugh. Oh, a horse's ass on my face! You ruined a perfectly good pastry! I mean, look what your ass did! This was a perfectly...
It wasn't as if I chose this.
Seeing Freya spring into action will kind of shake Saoirse out of trying to figure out where she knows this centaur, and she kind of, oh shoot, I should be doing things, and she jumps forward and says to Greer, "Are you hurt?"
She looks at you and pauses for a second. "I'm fine. Or I will be. Here, let me get up. My apologies." She slowly tries to get up.
Freya will go ahead and help Greer back to her feet, as I know horses sometimes
I'm
take
fine.
a minute to get up.
I don't need you to help me. Thank you.
Understood.
What is the creature doing at this point?
It's funny you should ask. At this point, it is standing in the opening that Greer has just created with her body. And you see maybe 10 or 15 small creatures. It's hard to describe what they look like. It's such a fast glance. They're really small. They're wearing red caps. They're just kind of rushing all over the place, running through the opening and starting to run away. At this point, Gray, you come around the corner of the stables, not noticing these creatures running out, not noticing the hulking figure standing in the doorway. And you kind of step over into the front of it and see these centaur, this satyr, this human-looking woman, this tabaxi woman. And what do you do?
Did I miss a rollicking roll of the hay? Got a little bit there in your, do you call it a mane?
It's just my hair.
Oh,
You've missed something, though. I don't quite know what.
Yes, there's quite a
oh, I heard
creature
noise.
causing some ruckus.
Oh, my,
What's this, pastry?
here, I'm gonna get out on the other side of this, that's some mighty shiny armor you have there. Perhaps you would like to stand between me and that thing there.
Oh,
Yep, there, my dear.
Yeah.
No need to start.
Yep.
There you go. Right there in front of me. There you go. Between me and it.
Stand behind me. All is well. We have this completely in
Excellent.
hand.
Perfect.
You weren't the one who pissed it off, were you?
No, I happened upon this scene. I'm still not entirely sure what's going on, but fear not, you are safe with me.
I feel more secure already.
Alright. At this point,
Ambellina's just looking at these people as they're doing this talk. Grabs
Do we
a
get a good look at the
handkerchief.
creature?
what was that?
Do we get a good look at the creature now?
Just in a second you will.
Oh no, I'm not becoming closer.
Arius, you're the last to arrive on the scene. As you're stepping around the corner, having left the sacred chalice, because that's where your friends asked you to meet them at the end of the week, Well, let's back up a little bit. What is Arius doing here in the city?
So, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So, Arius is also from Ternog, and he has been to Gaea before. Last time he was in Gaea, which would have been a few months ago, he came across a strange orb. He is calling the Orb of Astral Seeing. Weirdly enough, it's spherical device made of black glass with some clear areas, and when he looks inside, he's able to see what looks like the stars, the heavens. Although anyone else who he's handed it to has been unable to see the same thing. This has triggered within him just a general interest in the stars and anything to do with astrology, crystals, future retellings, future things. After some time of, begging his friends to return to Gaia so he can learn more about it, they finally complied, and he's kind of been on his own exploring since then. And was told that, he will be picked up by his friends soon to get back home.
Wonderful. Don't mind me, I'm just adjusting cameras. So, Arius, as you come around the corner to kind of investigate what is going on, you happen to see, along with everyone else, sorry, a little distracted here. Figure that out in a minute. What you see, and I will actually post this over into our Roll20, and then I'll post another image over into Discord so that everybody can see. This hulking figure standing minimum 15 feet tall. First you see one hoof step out. This hoof is probably easily a foot across. Easily. Then you see the second one about to step as two hands grab the side of the opening and just kind of rip the wood further open. You see this creature duck, and you see I think it's 2 or 6 large bull horns stepping out. The maw of a great bull attached to this huge, muscular body. Carrying in its right hand a massive great axe made of steel and iron, the blades of which are stained a deep crimson red, possibly from the many, many decades and centuries of blood that is dried onto the blade, and some that's still dripping from it. And let me post this image onto Discord so all of our wonderful people over in Discord can see. So for those of you on Discord watching, I'm going to post this in the game handouts. Or actually, no, I'm going to post it in the NPCs, allies, and villains channel so that you can all take a look at this huge creature.
Is it too late to put another body between me and it?
Unfortunately not. So, as you all kind of start to see and hear and are about to feel this creature stepping out among you, Arius, you see something else in one of his hands. this massive, huge hand. He's holding. Oh, let me see. Make sure I have the right name. What was their name? Give me half a second. It's in here somewhere. He's holding one of your friends who you would recognize as Zarg. He steps out into the open outside of the stables and says, and I beg your forgiveness for the language, "You, Lady Graybane, this is your last chance to survive. I fought you once and killed you. I don't know how you're still standing, but it won't happen again." And he charges towards you. Give me a dexterity check. Or a dexterity save.
This is for me?
This is for Greer. As he's charging towards her. Horn.
Dexterity. Just dexterity check?
Dexterity saving throw.
Saving throw. Oof.
Ooh, just enough.
Okay.
Very last second, you slip out of the way just enough. Scratches you with his horn, but he doesn't stop. He keeps. And so begins the chase.
Does a good look at this creature and what he says trigger anything for me?
Let's see. Give me. So I'm trying to think. Should I do perception or history? What do you think? I'll give you the choice of either perception or history.
I'll do a perception.
Oh yes, you have seen this creature before. At least a few years in the past. Would you or a certain other person like to divulge what happened in that last meeting?
Would you like to, or would you like me to?
Go ahead.
Number of years ago, when Saoirse and Greer knew each other much better, they encountered this creature before, and Greer did not survive the encounter. So I looked a little bit different then.
So at this point, Saoirse says, "Mother Danu, it's that fucking thing."
Ambellina
I can't believe you still followed me.
firebolt, like at its eyes, trying to blind it.
So,
Am I chasing him, or is he chasing me?
he has rushed past you, just scratching.
Oh, no.
Not enough to do like hit point damage, but enough to draw a little blood. But he has continued forward, rushing past you, knocking Gray over in the process of getting to you at first. Ambellina
Oh, no.
and Freya, you're almost in the way and kind of have to shuffle out of the way at the very last minute to avoid being hit.
That's my human
Because-
shield right there.
Because I was in front of Gray, can I shove Gray out of the way and get knocked over myself instead?
Give me
Apparently,
a
my
dexterity-
firebolt went.
Dexterity check.
Uh-huh.
So much for blinding.
15 total.
15, got it. So yeah, you are able to push Gray out of the way.
And I'll try to get my shield up as well.
Got it. Arius, what are you doing during this?
Seeing that he has my friend, how far away am I from this creature, and where am I in relation to where it's walking?
As you stepped around the corner and saw him carrying Zarg, you were probably maybe at most 10 feet away.
Okay, and is he walking away from me at this point?
Yes, he is starting to run.
Okay, and so then he's starting to run?
Yes.
So then seeing this, Arius will yell, Zarg, Zarg, Zarg! And attempt to cast Entangle right below it to see if he can in fact entangle it. So I'll pick that up. It's a strength saving throw of 13. If he fails that, he's entangled. If not, it's still difficult terrain, and it's a 20-foot square.
Okay. So, let's see.
Assuming he's gonna pass it, because it's a strength saving throw of 13, and he's pretty beefy, but you know.
Yep, he is definitely a beefy boy. And you said it was a dexterity?
It's a strength saving throw,
Strength saving
so even worse for me.
Yeah, he passes.
Okay, and the 20-foot square is still difficult terrain, so it's somewhat inconvenient for like 2 seconds.
Sounds good.
When I do yell Zarg, do either Zarg or the creature acknowledge me?
You hear coming from Zarg a cry for help. It's short-lived as the jostling of this massive creature basically is just shaking all of the air out of his lungs. He doesn't even really have much chance to say much aside from help, 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 as it's just kind of just the air is being forced out of his lungs as this creature is grasping him and running. Your other two companions you have not seen yet. So give me a second. I'm going to adjust one more video.
After ensuring that Gray is in fact okay after getting shoved out of the way of the Minotaur, Freya will whistle for Storm, who she left just outside of this fray, and vault back into the saddle to give chase.
All right. So, at this point, I wish I had some music going right now, but we are going to enter a chase scene through the streets and alleyways of Cragminster. I'm not going to do an initiative just because it's going to be, you're just going. There may be points at which you lose track of them. You might have to choose left or right, see if you can keep going.
Having heard Saoirse have some connection to this creature, as Freya has vaulted back on to her horse, she's going to pull up next to Saoirse and say, "Would you like to chase him too?" And offer an arm up if she'd like a ride.
I would, but
I think you're supposed to be running away. from the giant raging bull thing, not towards. That's a death wish.
So,
I'm wondering if if I can use charm person on it.
you can certainly try.
Oh.
Just realize this is not a. What types of creatures does charm person affect?
You
It's
attempt
only
humanoid. That's why I was asking.
So as you cast the spell, it fails, as this is not a humanoid creature.
Okay. Well, that doesn't work. My
I'm
dad's
galloping
example-
full sprint by this point.
Yep. So Saoirse, were you going to ride on horseback with Freya?
Yes, I will let her pull me up.
Okay.
Right, you're up
So as
up
you,
on the saddle behind me.
as you grasp Freya's hand, or rather, I should say, Freya, as you grasp Saoirse's hand to pull her up behind you, you hear in your head two simple words. You've never heard words in your head before. You've felt emotions and feelings and things like that, but you've never heard words. These two simple words are Kumacht Danu.
Ah. And I understand the meaning in common as well. All right. And do I get a sense of what the context for those words is, or do I need to make one of those insight checks?
Give me an insight check.
I missed Evandriel. That's not too bad though. 12.
All right. As you hear these words in your head, you feel as if this voice is trying to tell you something, trying to get you to say these words.
Okay.
You hear it once, but it has an
Yeah.
insistence behind it, this calling to you.
And I'm guessing that this voice, while I've never heard it express words before, has the same feeling as the feelings that I'm used to.
It does.
It has the
Okay.
feelings of warm water.
Yeah, that's
We're not going back there. We're not going back there.
I'm sorry, was I muted? Oh, my bad.
So,
Oh, great. Okay. Well, this is going to be interesting. As we are giving chase to this running Minotaur, Evandriel is going... Not Evandriel, jeez.
Freya.
Freya. Apologies. Same character name for so long, and now I've got a different one. Freya is going to draw her longsword and repeat Kumacht Danu.
At this moment, with Saoirse behind you, a familiar sight which you have not seen since you were 6 years old, once again it appears in your hand. And Saoirse, you see this as well, that the sword that Freya pulled from its scabbard no longer looks like an ordinary longsword. It has changed dramatically. What you see, I'll start from the blade edge down to the hilt. What you see is the blade is not made of steel, but rather it looks like bone, long, spiraling, razor sharp. The crossguards made of exquisite gold-colored adamantium. The hilt fashioned of the purest of pure emeralds. The pommel of this sword has gone from a round metal weight to balance the sword, and has become the head and alicorn of a unicorn. Saoirse, you recognize this sword. And thinking back, there's something about Freya that seems very familiar as well. Particularly a wound on her right temple.
From behind you, you hear a little voice sort of gasp in surprise and then say, "It cannot be. Little flower?"
And at that point, Freya, who has been dead set on this pursuit, pulls Storm up. And I'm talking like quarter horse stop on a dime, butt to the ground almost, sliding stop. And whips around to look at Saoirse.
And she looks.
And her jaws just
how you
drop.
remember her.
Wait. I've heard that name before. And she looks down at the sword in her hand. And the other hand comes up and touches the scar running through her right eyebrow. And she just says, "That everyone told me I was crazy, but that actually happened?"
You could not have gotten that sword any other way.
And Freya's looking down at the sword in her hand and says, From when I brought it home, it just looked like a normal sword. It hasn't looked like this for the last 20 years. Holy.
Well, yes, holy indeed, dear.
So you're telling me that everything that happened that day was real. I didn't imagine it. And you know what? Don't we have a monster to chase? We should come back to this at some point because I need a moment.
Yes, that moment should come later. Let's move on.
As the two of you are having this conversation,
And Freya kicks Storm back up to a gallop to try to catch back up to the Minotaur.
as the two of you are having this short little conversation of recognition, I know Greer is about to start really giving chase, chasing her prey. But just before you begin going full bore speed right behind this massive minotaur, a creature begins to climb from your shadow. Val, tell us a little bit about why you are here in Cragminster.
The world of the mortals and light. How dreary. Where can I find the Prince of Beasts? He has escaped judgment and must stand trial before the lady herself.
Greer.
I'm sorry, of whom do you speak?
The one that is known as the
what?
Prince of Beasts. He's to be judged for his cruelty and blood that he has spilled.
Oh,
we
the
can
You
drama.
got any other names for him?
Unfortunately not. That is the only lead I have to go on.
Greer, give me a history check.
Right, well, I'm after a beast right now. Wanna help me with that?
A beast, you say? Then perhaps it knows where I can find this prince. After it at once!
Greer, give me a history check real quick.
Works for me. Right.
Must be something in the water. People running off to their deaths.
I just want a chance to whip it and see if it will be tamed in any way.
And what did you get, Greer?
You want to tame the bull? Here,
We'll
I just
neuter
have a
him.
red handkerchief here somewhere. Red hanky, there you go. Just wave that around, see if he gets attention.
Oh, don't worry, we'll neuter
I
him.
love red. I
fine.
guarantee you'll get his attention.
Greer, what was that history check?
I lost everyone. What was just said?
Roll a history check for me. Alright, so when Val mentions the name Prince of Beasts, you have instant recognition. You've heard this name before, and it's always been associated with the name of the creature that you are following, chasing, hunting. Prince of Beasts, also known as Tunrag the Cruel, the beast that killed you.
That was his title? Okay.
Prince of Beasts, also known as Tunrag the Cruel. Kind of lost your audio there. You want to jump out and jump back in real quick? there?
All of my stuff is lagging so hard now.
So yeah, you know him as the Prince of Beasts and Toonrog the Cruel. Val, however, only knows him as Prince of Beasts. So as Val springs from your shadow and claws his way into the mortal realm, I'm guessing the two of you give chase to Toonrog.
It's out, full gallop.
Oh yeah. For Gray, Arius, and Ambellina, what are the three of you doing?
Oh, I'm definitely running after this bull thing because I want more information on it, and I want to know if it either A can be a friend, B if I need to neuter it, C if I need to kill it, or well, maybe spank it a little.
Ambellina, give me a perception check.
It's already neutered.
Okay. So as you're chasing behind Toonrog, you see his feet hitting the ground hard, just like pounding divots into the ground. At one point, as he lifts his foot up, you see a little red smear underneath it, and then it keeps running. Arius, what are you up to?
That's it. Chase it down, get a bridle on it, haul it back to Morning Glory Farms. Oh, that should be interesting.
Let me tickle it with some lightning first. I want to see how it can dance.
Arius, what are you up to?
I seeing that it definitely didn't get entangled and hoping that at least it was slowed down a bit by the spell itself doing difficult terrain. Arius is going to give chase, and if I were to run full speed, how close could I get to it right now?
What is your current speed?
30.
30?
Basic stuff.
Okay, at full speed.
Oh, wait. Oh, not before doing a dash, sorry. Just using my 30 feet. How far am I from it?
Yeah, at your full speed versus his full speed, he's still pulling away from you.
How far?
When you first start giving chase, he's probably about 20 feet ahead of you. And at this point, as you guys keep going at full speed, he is starting to pull away from you. So at this point, he's maybe 25 feet in front of you.
Got it. Okay. And can I take an action?
Absolutely.
I am going to attempt to use a Thorn Whip. Rather than targeting him, I would like to target Zard, and knowing it'll damage him, but knowing I could also potentially make an attempt at moving him 10 feet closer to me.
Got it. Give me an attack roll with the Thorn Whip.
I got a 22.
Oh, very nice. So you throw the whip out there. It kind of curls as it unfurls, and eventually it wraps onto the ankle of Zarg.
Also dealing 2 piercing damage to him.
Okay. So as it wraps around his ankle, he yelps in pain. More so at the surprise of it than the actual pain of the thorns itself. But very quickly, give me a dexterity saving throw.
Ooh.
As this creature starts to pull you.
17.
Alright. Let's see. I'll roll this over here. There we go. Ignore the second one. So, as it wraps around Zarg's ankle, so let me see if I can describe this. As he's kind of carrying it in Zarg in his right hand, his massive great axe in his left. His arm is kind of behind him when your thorn whip wraps around Zarg's ankle, but as he takes his next step, his arm rushes forward, and you are thrown off balance and are now being dragged behind Tunrog.
Excellent.
Great.
Where in comparison is he getting dragged versus where we are on a horse?
Okay, so I'm going to move the "You Are Here" token on the map over here on roll 20 up to where Tunrog is now. The rest of you are a little bit further back, right about there, where I'm pinging.
Okay.
Click on the map to take massive. Sorry.
So,
Oh, there it goes.
I guess
Yep.
I'm going to maneuver so that I don't accidentally run over our Gither's Eye friend on the ground there. Because that would just be adding both insult to injury and more injury to injury.
Yeah, I'm level 1. I don't have a lot of health right now, so.
And what about
Getting run over by a horse would be bad.
Yes. Okay. Gray, what do you do? As this
Really quickly, did I take any damage from being like dragged right now?
Not yet.
Got it.
Magical woman with swords, charging bowls, things pulling out of portals. I want to see what happens.
Okay. So as you join the chase with the rest, we have Tunrog and Zarg in the lead, followed very closely by Greer, and I'm sure that Freya and Saoirse are not far behind. Val, what are you doing to chase?
Oh, I'm at this point in time being, let's see, do I have the option, and this is going to be fun, do I have the option of jumping on top of the guy who's being currently dragged to ride him like a surfboard?
Give me a dexterity check to see if you can do it. Or either that or an acrobatics, actually. Give me an acrobatics.
Oh, this is going to be fun. That was an 18.
Ooh, very nice. So yeah, you take a running leap, and just as Arius is landing face first in the dirt, and cobblestones and is starting to get pulled, you land squarely on his butt. Both feet, skateboard, surfboard style. Arius, you have the air kind of knocked out of you temporarily as Val lands on your backside.
Oh.
And we move forward a little further.
Freya's gonna yell down over the clattering of hooves on cobblestone and all of this to Arius. Are you doing that on purpose, or do you need help?
I need help.
I'm going to reach down and try to sever the vine whip.
Got it.
With the sword.
Okay. Go for it.
To hopefully stop you from being dragged. Because that sucks. I've never been dragged face first, but I've certainly been dragged caught in a stirrup, and it's not fun.
Oh, God.
Is that an attack roll?
Yep, on the
All right.
whip.
With
I'm going to have you
with,
do it at disadvantage because it's such a small moving target.
okay. I'm just going for the big old slash.
Uh-huh.
But so disadvantage. The 19 was great, but I guess the 15 is going to have to do. So 15 plus 7 is 22.
I think that'll do it. So as you swing...
Do you want me to roll all of the damage for it?
No, I'm not worried about damage. As you swing the sword...
Because the radiant would stack on there too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think you're good with damage. So as you swing your sword in a downward arc, having to kind of lean down off of Storm to do it.
Oh yeah, which Freya's an old hand at that.
Oh yeah.
She's more comfortable on horseback than she is on her 2 feet.
Mm-hmm. So your years of training, horseback riding, weaponsmanship, you are able to slice the thorn web. And Arius and Val, you come to a skidding stop, Val kind of tumbling off of you, landing back on his feet. And you're able to pick yourselves up and continue the chase.
That was the best I could do.
Saoirse,
Thank you.
Saoirse, what do you do?
Is Toonrock still within 60 feet of us?
Yes, but possibly not for much longer. Because
Okay.
he's still pretty fast with a 40-foot speed.
But we're mounted, so I think I've got 60 feet mounted.
Okay. So yeah, the two of you.
So
and
we can catch up.
Probably catching up a little bit.
Okay, so Saoirse is going to attempt to cast Fairy Fire,
Okay.
which it can cover a 20-foot cube worth of creatures, so it'll cover Toonrog and the dude he's holding as well, if that matters.
Okay. So Toonrog and Zarg.
And it's a DC 14 Dex.
X. Got it. Alright. So he
Sparkle
just fails. So he is currently fairy fired.
He starts to very faintly glow with pretty purple sparkles. And so now everybody has advantage on attack rolls. And he can no longer benefit from being invisible if he has any ability that does that.
Okay.
How quickly would we be able to get up into melee range?
You are getting pretty close. Right now, you are probably down to about 15 feet behind him.
Okay.
Ambellina, Arius, and Gray and Val are starting to fall behind just because they're on foot, they're not mounted. But they're still mostly keeping up. But as you start getting into more housing district, he's starting to curve through side streets, around houses, through backyards, down alleyways. He's doing everything he can to lose you as best he can.
Can
I'm gonna
I?
start shooting at his ankles, going for Achilles heel.
Okay.
And I would like to use my lightning lure and strike one lance if I can.
We can do one thing at a time. But Greer, go first.
Oh, it was almost a natural 20.
Roll it
Almost.
again, you get advantage.
You got advantage.
Oh, that's right. It's fine.
Oh, the natural one. Good thing you had the advantage with the 14.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it still misses.
Can I reach back as we're closing on him and pull the rope off the side of one of my saddlebags.
Sure. And while you're doing that, we'll jump to Ambellina.
Tie it into a lasso.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes.
Oh boy, this is going to be interesting.
I would like to use my lightning lure, and if his butt is in my direction, if I'm like running towards his butt, I'd like to smack his ass with a lightning lure.
Okay.
What's the range on that?
What's the range on it?
15 feet? Am I 15 feet?
You are currently closer to the 25 foot.
Okay, so I can't do...
So you can always use the feline agility feats. Which
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would like to go ahead and use that. A good point. I forgot that I'm part cat in this one.
So using your feline agility feat, you are able to quickly close the distance, and you throw your lightning whip out there. Give me the attack roll for it. So it's a DC 13, huh? Strength save. So he, as you throw it out there, it unravels, the lightning crackling along the length of it. And just as it's about to snap, he pulls away, just out of reach, and it misses him.
Motherfucker!
I'm guessing this guy has really good strength.
Try the red flag. See if it gets his attention.
We're gonna start winding up the lasso.
Well, considering we're chasing a giant raging bull, I would say so.
On next time, I think, or unless I could do it, I can, out of sheer anger, just throw a firebolt at his butt.
It's always a possibility. So, Freya, you said you were throwing the lasso at him?
Yep, and I am aiming for the horns, and then at that point, I'll dally it off on my saddle pommel, and my goal is to catch him by the horns and then stop short and yank him so he falls back.
Got it. So you're probably close enough to be able to do this with the speed and everything.
I think I've got 60 feet of rope or something like that, so I should have plenty of rope length.
Give me, let's see, how do I want to do this?
Have I gone full cowgirl in the first session?
Very much so. Go ahead.
I mean, it fits both for Freya and for me.
Would you rather do a dexterity check or an athletics?
Definitely athletics.
Go for athletics then. See if you can.
All right. Yeah, I actually have a bonus to athletics. A decent one. I am going to go ahead and use my fated on this, because that was a 1.
Got it.
So, yay demigod.
Oh, right.
And that's a nat 20. So, thank you, demigod.
All right.
Total of 26.
Got it. So, since demigod is a new race that we've created for this game, why don't you tell everyone what fated means?
So, the way that we're running it currently, and this is subject to change, and we already did nerf it a little bit from what Sarah had earlier, because I was looking at it and going, fated is a racial feature for demigods that says, the threads of fate unravel and tie themselves anew for a demigod. When you roll a natural 1 on an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can re-roll the die and must use the new roll. And we've determined that for now, this is usable once per round or turn.
So with the 26, you throw your lasso. The the loop circling as it's being thrown. And you catch one of the horns.
I was aiming for both.
You caught one.
Rats.
And
Not a very good header.
at this point, give me a strength saving throw.
And am I using mine or my mount? Because it's him that
You're
would
holding
be.
onto the rope.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and I've got a better strength than my horse anyway, which seems strange. Strength save.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go. I will take that 18 plus 4. 22.
So, as the lasso finds one of his horns, just happens to be the biggest one on that side of his head, because he's got basically 3 horns on each side coming out in different directions.
Oh.
You have 6 horns. You happen to catch the biggest one.
Okay.
Strongest one.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, in the picture it doesn't really show that, but description-wise, that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you are, as it kind of catches and snaps to its full extension, and you hold on, you feel the rope pulling through your hands. You can.
I've got it dallied off on my saddle pommel too, though.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. So you've got a length between your hands,
Mhm.
a loose little bit between your hands and the saddle pommel or the saddle horn. But there's enough there that as he's starting to pull, it pulls through your hands, and you feel the burn. You smell the burn.
Yep.
You hear the burn.
Don't have my roping gloves on. Dang it.
Not so much. But as it snaps taut, the horse pulls forward a little bit too, as it recognizes this immense weight that is being
Mhm.
pulled on. Tunrag comes to a brief stop, realizes his horn's been hooked. And at this point, you're basically in this little dead end area right in between the houses, in this little center area. And as he comes to a stop, Zard still in his hand, he turns towards you. The rest of you catching up and joining with Freya and Saoirse and Greer, so that you're all in this little area together, with Zarg still in his right hand, this massive blood-stained battle axe in his left. You hear him starting to get angry.
I wasn't angry before. You're right, done pissed him off. You know the whole saying of, grab a bull by the horns? If you look too literal today.
Well,
much
I mean,
rather
No,
than-
that was literally what I was trying to do.
he won't be so mad if you just take away what makes him angry.
So as he turns, you can see the steam, normally not visible at all in the real world, but you can just imagine this steam, these clouds of anger coming out of his nose, kind of like what you see in cartoons when a bull gets angry. But as he turns, he looks you dead in the eyes, Freya.
I'm not running behind you anymore.
He looks you dead in the eyes and says, "So, you think you've caught me, have you?" Oh, young one, you don't know how much trouble you have just found.
Well, I've always been good at
Look
finding
adorable
trouble.
in an apron.
And then he turns to you, Saoirse. I remember you. You were there with the gray bitch when I killed her. I'm gonna enjoy doing the same to you.
Can I?
Stick, though, did it?
Did anyone hear that he's not pissed off at?
Well, I don't know the rest of you yet, but I'm sure we'll meet again. And with Zarg in his hand, he raises it up, raises his hand up.
I charge him.
As you charge, he slams Zarg into his chest, a gem sitting right at the center of his leather cross. And just as Zarg and his hand hit that gem, he disappears.
What about the rope around his horn?
It falls loose onto the ground.
Rats.
Just start stomping the ground. I almost had him.
Are you sure?
He was right there.
I just wanted to see if he would look really cute in an apron or not. Like, see if I could spank him. I mean,
Freya's
I have no
pulling
quarrel with him.
the
Just
rope back
curiosity.
in and recoiling it and fixing it back to her saddle.
There's almost tears of frustration out of my face. Like I'm just seething, stomping the ground, having a fit.
I slide down off of the horse from behind Freya and just sort of slowly walk over to Greer. I feel like I'm seeing a ghost.
You are. Or something close, that is.
Does anyone know where that monstrosity went? It had my friend.
I don't know where it's gone. Rest assured, I will find it. And I'll run it through with its own goddamn horns.
That's Ooh, man, you're gonna turn me on there if you keep talking like that. Whew.
Freya, turning to Greer, says, "Well, if some of his last words were any indication, I think we now have a common enemy."
You have a
Indeed.
common enemy. I have a really good story to tell tonight. I'm earning myself a couple free drinks and perhaps some company.
And at this point, Freya will
Centaurs, magic girls with swords.
will
Kitty cats
go
with really
and
weird taste.
extend
I am
her
not a
hand.
kitty cat. I am part kitty. I am not a true kitty. I hold my tail and Weirdo. She doesn't know the difference.
I've never seen one of your kind before.
What were you saying, Freya?
What?
In continuation of my little conversation with Greer there, being as Freya is mounted and therefore probably on a level with Greer normally, it's going to kind of side pass, storm over, and extend a hand.
I'll eye you for a second.
Freya Valisson, Paladin of the Order of the Valkyrie.
Rare Graybane. Bounty hunter. For Iran.
Not for money.
Pleasure.
I wish
It's
it
not
was
profitable
so.
if you bounty hunt for money.
Wait,
It's not a life I chose.
Aran, you say?
Indeed.
Would this be the same Aran as the god of life and death?
The same.
Curious. Mortal, it appears that our fates may be intertwined somehow, for Aran was the one that gave life to me.
Gave life to you?
Ah, yes, of course. The customs of your world. Forgive me. I am Val Gravewalker, Shadowborn of Otherworld, and its jailer, as well as its warden.
I
Ambellina
too was
has
given life. A second life. By Aran.
Curious indeed. Well, as much as I can say, it seems that we may have a common interest or target.
It seems so.
For the beast you seem to chase, do you know of it?
Do I know of it? It killed me.
Are you looking to have
Yeah,
to
you're
do it again?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Are you looking to have it do it again? Glutton for
I
punishment,
lift
son?
up a bit. Lift my cloak up a little bit to reveal like a
Oh
big,
dear, I usually
like,
ask for a
gaping
drink or two
puncture
before we
wound.
start getting clothes off.
This is what it did to me. I am gonna return the favor.
And as you look at Greer's side, where she's lifted up her cloak, on her left, is it left or right side?
It's kind of central. I've kind of had my cloak over me the whole time.
So on her side, you see this massive, healed over scar, at least a foot in length. And you know how some scars are just like really small, really kind of still level with the skin? This one has a huge ripple pushing out from her backside. So it's like, basically, if this is her skin, it's like sitting way up this high. It is very deep. And almost not healed over.
Well. Not sure why you risk that
Gruesome.
happening again.
Quite the wound indeed.
This is interesting. Like, from what I've read in Wizardry, you can bring back the dead, but this is like a whole new level. Oh, wow. And Ambellina is just scribbling down a bunch of notes and badly drawing what her wound looks like. Wow, this is... Whoa. And how did you say this happened?
The creature.
This Prince
Saoirse
of
looks
Beasts.
like she doesn't want to talk about it.
I mean, I don't mean to, like, upset you and bring up bad, traumatic emotional damage, but, like, that is nuts that you came back. And it wasn't with wizard help or, like, any other magical means? Like, what,
I serve Aran, god of life and death. Not by choice. He gave me life to serve him.
Oh.
That is
Oh,
my
you're
second
dead.
life's purpose.
Oh, okay.
No,
That's weird.
it's there.
Look, that's all great and interesting and everything. As I've already said, we have a common enemy, a common goal. Sure. Does anyone actually know how to get to that common enemy or goal that has appeared? I'm kind of concerned for my friend right now. This isn't really a revenge kind of situation. It's a my friend might die situation, and I doubt he has the sight of a god to bring him back.
I'm sorry to say, your friend is likely already dead.
I mean, with the guy that big, I mean,
We don't know that, though. Do any of you who have previous experience with this monstrosity know how he might travel? Is there a way to track him?
Yes, that
I
is
don't
the
know anything
question. That
about
is a good
that.
question.
I know things about cats, but bulls.
Does your friend owe you money?
Of course. Not really the point, no.
Well, I mean, why would you want to save him if he doesn't owe you money or a favor or something?
All of us are driven by different things, and I'm going to ignore you right now because you're not helpful. You guys, do you know how to find that creature? Please tell me you do.
I've been tracking
No.
it for years.
Everything
I
leaves
don't
a
have
trace.
much to go on since it disappeared into nothing. I'll have
Nothing
to go off
simply
rumors, hearsay, for now.
impossible. Nothing
How
that
did you
simply
track it
disappears into
before?
nothing.
Saoirse, having cast Fairy Fire, you know that creatures can't hide via invisibility or things like that. So, give me an Arcana check real quick. And while she's doing that, Ambellina, give me another perception check.
Holy
That's a
crap.
20 for a total of 21.
Okay. And Ambellina.
Congrats.
Alright. So, Saoirse, you would know that Fairy Fire kind of prevents creatures from going invisible and just hiding that way. And you're able to still kind of figure out where they are. Toonrug is nowhere. Almost as if he traveled through some kind of arcane magic away from the area. Ambellina, even with this low roll, as you're kind of diagramming Greer's wounds and what has happened in your journals, you start to look back along the path that you traveled during this chase, and you see 1, 2, 6, 10 red puddles. Most of them contain 4 legs and a tail.
Puddles. Without saying anything to anybody else, I just start following the puddles and looking at the puddles.
Meanwhile, Saoirse speaks up. I can tell you, it's not still here. My fairy fire was on it. It can't be hiding.
And
If it didn't
I
come
don't
from
think
this plane, it
I don't
probably
think
does have to get back to
invisibility
where it
would
came
have.
from.
I don't think invisibility would have had the rope dropped to the ground completely empty either.
Well,
That
invisibility
suggests-
wouldn't have worked. I would have
Yeah.
still seen it.
So it seems that through some manner of magic, he is, what's the term? Flown the coop?
Magic.
Mothers have educated me on, extraplanar deities, creatures, their modes of travel, creatures like this thing was.
Yep, you would have had that training.
Magic
But
or not,
easily,
everything
he came
leaves
from
a
his
trace.
train. Not necessarily, not if he stepped back into his own dimension. I thought that's the first chapter of every sort of book on any other plane.
What sort of dimension would that thing come from?
not a pleasant one.
Well, it's definitely not my world, I can tell you that.
Would Freya have any idea where a creature like that might come from?
Give me a history check.
I think I'm proficient in history. Let me double check.
Having had a history of tracking it, would I have any idea of like a base of operations or usual place of place it goes to Raku? I don't know.
Yeah, so that was just a straight roll, but a 15.
Okay. And Greer, give me a history check with advantage.
Would Ambellina know anything from books that she read?
16 twice. All right.
Ambellina, probably not. I'm not going to make you roll for it, but probably not. So between the 15 for Freya and the 16 for Greer, I'll start with Freya. Freya, you would know that this is a creature of ancient legend. Having heard the name Prince of Beasts, it kind of triggers some recollection from some of the studies you've done at the Order. You would know that it has a memory for mazes. You would know that it is very much associated with mazes.
Would I have a guess at type of creature, like fiend or something else?
With what you've studied, you aren't really quite sure. You don't really quite remember that much detail. You just remember it's associated with mazes. For Greer, having tracked this creature for years, even before your first death, you know this creature. You've studied this creature. Hell, you gave your life for this creature. You know that its base of operations is not on Hastings. It is from another realm, but it resides in the mortal realm. And its main base of operations is somewhere, from what you've researched, it is somewhere in the Middle Sea, south of Krioslos. Your nearest other continent.
Have I been there before looking for it?
You have not been able to find this. You may have traveled into Krioslos somewhat, but you've never been able to actually find its base of operations yet.
Okay. I have an idea of where it might possibly be. A general area of where I know it resides, though I have not found its residence myself.
A general area is a good start. It's better than no lead at all.
Indeed.
Still, I must find this Prince of Beasts.
Is it very far? I don't have the map memorized yet.
Yeah, so basically, Krioslos is basically Europe, and the Middle Sea is basically the Mediterranean Sea.
Got it.
We're in
Okay.
Britain.
So
we have to go
quite a ways then.
Yeah.
Oh,
To the southeast.
I don't know.
This seems a silly question to ask, but this creature is evil, yes?
I've not known one more evil.
Well then, according to the tenets of my order and the instructions given to me before I departed,
If there's a lot of
eradicate
witches
evil
and
where
stuff to be
possible.
involved, I mean,
Seems like
I will
I
tell
don't see
you.
no to help.
just don't go around helping strange people. Just, it's a little.
Of course you go around helping strange people. That's what you're supposed to do.
Half these people are
I say
all evil?
I say
help
strange
people.
creatures, not strange people. Ugh, people suck. Ew.
Arius, give me a perception check.
And as Saoirse said, some of
mighty
these people
17.
some of these people aren't strangers to me. Freya kind of looks down at her again.
Okay. So Arius, with your 17, as you're kind of listening in on this conversation, frantically worried about Zarg, you see on the ground a small slip of paper covered in blood.
I would like to pick that up.
As you pick it up and unfold it to see what is on the paper, you see words in a language that you're very familiar with.
That I am, you said?
Yes. So you recognize the writing, the handwriting, the formation of the words. It says, Arius, I'm sorry. Forgive us. Zarg.
Forget us, you said?
Forgive us.
Okay. I would quickly pocket that and then turn to the rest of the group speaking. It says, okay, so I understand you're giving chase. By any chance, can I join you? You see my best bet to saving my friend here.
Ambellina
Seems we
still
all have
not
common
100%
goal.
convinced.
Freya is going to once again swing a leg over and slide to the ground off her mount and go up to Arius.
Arius.
Yes. And clap a hand on his shoulder and say, I'm sorry about your friend, and I promise to do everything in my power to find and rescue him.
And once he claps my shoulder, I will quickly grab your hand with both my hands and just start shaking. Thank you so much. I'm Arius.
Freya Valisson, a paladin of the Order of the Valkyrie.
Very nice to meet you. Certainly have more questions about that soon, but sorry, just a bit scatterbrained right now. Just everything just happened.
Understandable. Are you okay from your dragging mishap there?
Surprisingly so. Your quick thinking, I think, saved me from taking any actual hurt there.
Well, I'm glad I was able to assist.
And you, turning to Greer, thank you for letting me join you. I'll do anything I can to help. Arius here.
I almost said Graybane. Greer. Pleasure to meet you.
And I'll shake their hand as well.
I have
So
to
these,
stoop down for everyone a little
slightly-
bit as I do that.
Crazy people. If I take a good, long look at them, with my gift, oops. You shouldn't have opened a new page. Shame on you, browser. The True Seer gift. What does True Sight give me on everyone?
Good question.
And you can always type it if they don't even need to know about themselves. But what does a good long look at everyone present give me?
I'll say this out in the open just to see if we have to do everything.
We can
From
differentiate
the obvious
between
ones that
player
are
knowledge, player knowledge, and character knowledge.
Yes.
So this is right now. This is gray knowledge. For Arius, you see worry, but actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this a little bit different. Give me an insight check, and I'll have you roll an insight for each person when I get to them. So we're gonna start with Arius.
I always have advantage from one of my other divine portfolio things. I will do the eye. 23.
Oh, very nice. So with 23 on Arius, you see the worry, but it's not necessarily the worry of a friend. It seems deeper somehow. You see that while he's carrying on the conversation with everybody, his eyes are darting back and forth, just kind of trying to piece things together, trying to figure out which way to go, where to find his friend and his other friends that he's looking for. So let's switch over to Ambellina. Give me another insight check on Ambellina.
Oh boy.
Let me try it just like this. Nope. Did it roll over there? Nope. I'll have to roll it twice. 22.
Okay, 22. On Ambellina, you see... You've kind of been keeping an eye on her and all the rest, but when you look at her, you see, particularly after she noticed those puddles of blood and what was in those puddles, you noticed a sadness come over her face. Not quite tears, but the corners of the mouth droop, the corners of the eyes and the lids kind of start to sag a little bit to the sides, kind of evidencing a sadness about something that she couldn't control, about something that might possibly be very important to her. When you look at Val, give me another insight check.
I'm not taking notes at all on any of y'all.
Oh, Ambellina did pick up samples and stuff from those puddles.
20.
20. Val is a lot harder to read. His head, his cowl still pulled up over his head, kind of hiding a lot of his features. But you can see him studying. His eyes are intense with investigation, with looking around, trying to study the various aspects of what is around him, trying to map out in his head where he is and where he might go to find his prey. For Freya, give me another insight check.
Ooh, the lowest. 16.
Okay. On Freya's face, you see what really could only be described as excitement. Like, that whole chase was fun for her. That's really all you can see, and it's glaringly obvious.
Thrill seeker.
What does True Sight do again?
See through invisibility, disguises, pretty much everything. But, I mean, he's also assessing you
Okay.
through all lens. Any original forms. So I probably see the two that aren't particularly living anymore as their living shadows, I guess, maybe?
Yes.
Does it tell you anything about, like, creature type or anything?
I think so.
Okay.
I think
Because
so.
that would be interesting for Freya.
Yep. So.
I probably could pick up demigods because it's
Well,
Yeah, you do pick up on a sense of divine, but you can't quite place it. The roll wasn't quite
Yeah.
big enough to place it.
Mhm.
But there's something a little extra in there too.
yeah.
So switching over to
Even though she looks completely and totally human.
yes. So switching over to Saoirse, give me another insight roll.
Oh, and nat 20, so 24.
Okay. On Saoirse, you see an obvious sense of fae on her. Very obvious.
Besides the horns.
Besides the horn, the satyr legs and everything. But you see into her as if you can actually read part of her. You can see that just looking at her face, she is extremely conflicted. She's spent so many years mourning her friend, who now stands before her again. She doesn't know if she should be sad or if she should be happy. You can just see a dozen different emotions running through her all at the same time in a jumbled mess. But even beyond that, you also notice a sense of wild bewilderment and curiosity directed towards Freya and what possibly went on between them as well. So there's definitely some history there between those two. That might come up later. We'll see. But now we turn to Greer.
Uh, 23.
Got it. So the first things you notice are her quiet resolve and a deep, deep sense of anger, just rife with hate. You see that on her face, you see just a hint of mournful recognition towards Saoirse. You see there's something behind those eyes. And it's definitely not anger. It's not hate. There's passion. You could almost say a sense of lost love. Something that, just from what you can tell from the look of her, that she might consider lost, gone forever. But at the same time, you can see an immense amount of pain, both physical and emotional. Just out of curiosity, how did I do, guys?
Pretty on point.
I think
pretty on
in
point.
mixed in, just for Freya, mixed in with the obvious excitement, because yes, a little bit of a thrill seeker. I would say the only thing that would be mixed in with that is a sense of confusion too, directed at Saoirse.
Yeah,
That's definitely probably very apparent, especially since I think Freya is like kind of staring at Saoirse as all of this is going on when she's not actively doing anything else. That's kind of what she's doing.
Yeah, I'd say you definitely got Val on point, that's for sure, because he's like a freaking bloodhound from hell.
Uh-huh.
Once he's got a target, he's on it. Like everything else can be ignored.
Oh yeah.
How many demigods do we have?
3?
2? 3?
3?
Only 3. All the good things comes in 3.
Couple different kinds of demigods.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Well, you got all the more interesting, didn't you?
You definitely got Ambellina spot on, because she's not going to really, willingly show her discomfort or upsetness over the situation. It's gonna keep that shit to herself.
Usually this many demigods gather in one place is a city leveled or something. Not saying that out loud.
Are you?
So as you guys kind of keep carrying on your conversations and start the process of possibly getting to know each other, I want all 7 of you to do something for me. I want you to go to level 2.
Oh, okay.
Why, thank you.
Here we go.
All right.
Here we go.
So for some of you, that will mean possibly finding your subclass. For others, you still have to wait till level 3. But
Really quickly, how are you doing HP?
I was just about to say that. So in this game, we're going to be rolling for HP. So every time you level up, you'll roll one of your hit dice to see how many points you get added to your hit point level. But if you roll a 1, you'll re-roll that, because I hate 1s. So
I'm for that was yes, because that's that. Yeah, okay.
So for those of you who are gaining your subclass at this level, what are you picking?
Oh, wait, how are we doing the HP again? We're rolling for it?
Yeah, so
Are we rolling in chat?
For those of you that want to roll in chat, you can roll in chat. For those of you that want
I just rolled a 3.
Okay, so you can have
Yeah,
3.
I've got my
Constitution roll.
I've got my themed dice that Sarah has seen for this character
Yes.
that I already had, and it's just perfect.
Yeah. And since you were asking about subclasses, I will be a Circle of Stars druid.
Sounds good. I like it. So,
Yeah.
Good choice.
Ambellina, you'll roll 1d6, and if you roll a 1, you'll roll it again to get a different number.
Okay, because he's saying 2d6 for wizard hit dice, and that confused the crap out of me.
So when you roll for hit points, when you level up, you only roll 1 dice, and that's how many points you add.
Okay, so 3.
Cool.
So do I add 3 more?
Yep, so when you go into the Manage Hit Points feature in D&D Beyond, you've got a little section right up there at the top left that says Roll HP. It currently says 8, so you'll add 3 to that 8, taking it up to, 11? And that'll be your new hit points.
Don't you also add your Constitution modifier to your roll number?
Yeah, it's already automatically done.
Oh, okay.
Add the number that you rolled.
Adding another class right now.
Save the class later.
Yeah, no, most definitely. That's later.
Just do the subclass if you get them.
Oh wait, no, that's not what I wanted to do. That was the wrong button. Do I have any more spells that I add? I don't think so.
Yes.
I think you can prepare some extras,
Yeah, you can get
probably.
one more spell. One
more spell?
Yep.
Learning curve of the wizard. A little bit of... I can learn one more spell. I can prepare more.
Anybody else pick up their subclass yet?
Oh,
Yeah, not until level
I'm
3
sorry.
for me.
No.
I'm doing,
I've got
Wait,
spellcasting and Divine Smite now, though. So I could throw those on top of my sword.
Fun.
Sticking with Ranger for now.
I'm sticking with wizard
Got
and
my
I
one level of
am
warlock.
choosing blazing.
So we got blade.
Or essentially, what were we called? Blade dancing?
Yes, it's a blade singer wizard. So lots of fun, which is why your custom weapon will be very fun for you.
I know, right?
Oh, I knew it was going to be a blade singer, and I saw that weapon. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, right? We created it because I was like banging my head because she was asking me, what do you want for a weapon? And, I came across that whole wizard class and I'm like, well, I'm interested in this. And she's like, well, create a weapon. And I'm just like, spending weeks banging my head. And then she comes over for a visit. She goes, how about this? And I went, why didn't I think of that sooner? I was like thinking dual wielding. And I was thinking this. That was the furthest from my mind because I didn't think that was, something that we could do.
Cool.
And I would like to go ahead and remove Jim's magic missile because,
You can do that.
yeah. Okay.
At
Fantastic.
level up, you can change up spells, and for wizard, you can also do it after a long rest.
Oh, this is gonna be fun because since now I can add spells, I'm going with Hunter's Mark and Zephyr Strike.
I like it.
Oh, it's
Also, I have guidance now because of my subclass.
Yay!
Be prepared to
Oh.
use it.
It's weird for me not to be tossing guidance at everything.
I know. Now it's all,
I'll do it instead.
all on Saoirse.
Yep, I have guidance as well.
You allow for double guidance?
We'll see. yeah, if it's out there as a possibility, we'll play it by ear. We'll tentatively say yes, and we'll see how it goes.
Jeez. Burning hands for another prepared spell. There we go. I think I got everything set up.
So do we want to take a break and play some more, or do we want to call it for the night? I'm going to leave it entirely up to you.
Would this be a good stopping point?
This is the perfect time for stopping.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
I'm down
we
for
were
that.
looking at ending in half an hour anyway, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
I'd
done
say
with that.
Steph. I mean, this was just like the introduction to everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys did so amazing today. I'm really excited for all of this. Some excellent
Of course.
play, some excellent chase. Loved it all.
I'd say poor Arius got used to the surfboard.
Straight out of the gate. That was epic.
So for all of
Yeah, Ambellee's gotta work out some things to get settled because I'm so used to playing another character that my brain is like, oh, wait,
Yeah.
that's not it.
Yeah. I was doing the same thing where I was like, oh, I can give you guidance. Wait, no, I can't.
Nope.
I've gotten used to playing a cleric.
Yeah,
Like I'm
No,
actually
I'm
having
trying
to
all
read
week.
every.
Sorry, there's so many people. I've been trying all week to get a Scottish accent, and I can't. Every time I try to throw a Scottish lilt onto
It's
anything,
so
I
weird
fall
hearing
back
you
into
not
the French ash
I know.
accent.
French. It's so weird.
And so I just went full Raven from Teen Titans, and now I talk like this, like it's a constant vocal fry.
I love it.
I love it though.
Yeah.
But it fits the characters like so perfectly.
Yeah. Well, and I think we should say thank you to all of our guests that hopped in for the
Absolutely.
session too, because we had a handful of people, and that was awesome.
Yeah, it was great having some people come and share this experience with us. Share this with all of your friends. Have them join our Discord via our Instagram and Facebook groups and our website. So let me give you all of those again, just so you can have them with you. And I will also post them in the Game Chime chat and possibly a couple other channels here on Discord. We've got our website, which is rpgstorytelling.com. We've got our Instagram. Username is rpg_storytelling. Over on Facebook, we've got two different possibilities for you. We've got our public page, which is facebook.com/rpgstorytelling. And then through that page, I will post another link so that you can actually get access to our Facebook group as well, which is where we do more of the conversational side of things on Facebook. So the page is for just like general advertising and just putting information out there.
Yeah.
The Facebook group is for conversating, getting to know people, and interacting with things through Facebook. And then we also have our wonderful Discord channel, the Myths of Gaea-campaign Discord server. So we
And
got links everywhere for that one as well. So
With more incoming.
eventually we will be possibly getting to the Twitch streaming side of things, but for every month we'll be playing this game on the first Saturday of every month. We might adjust the time to possibly an earlier time depending on people's schedules, because I know some people are a little further east than California, so they're staying up later, like Cassie and Katie there. So we might adjust the time down to an earlier time depending on people's schedules. But
I'm not a night owl. I wish I was. I'm really not.
Well, I used
I
to
wake
be a
up
day
too early for
person.
that.
I was pretty.
I wake up too early for that. Real
And then
life
have a
ranch
sleep.
kid and cowgirl. So
Yeah, we will be taking.
I had fun with that.
Yeah, we'll be taking the recording of what we did tonight. I'll do some editing, just make sure everything's fitting properly, and I'll be posting that onto YouTube probably Monday or Tuesday, and then I'll post a link to that YouTube video over on our Facebook groups and website and Instagram and in here obviously as well. So that'll be coming. And just to let everyone know, this campaign is basically our playtest for a series of publications that we are going to be working on as a group. We might possibly come to our fans and ask for input as well. But we are looking at putting together an entire campaign world environment for the Dungeons and Dragons 5e system for Myths of Gaea. So it's all taking place on Earth in the ancient past, where the gods that created the world are still in the world and living in the world. Plus all of the fun little creatures that they created, like all of us. So that is a work in progress. We will keep you updated with more information about that. But for now, I'm going to say thank you to our wonderful champions, Cassie, Amberlee, Christi, Katie, Cassie, Eugene, and my wonderful wife, Amy. I've got to call her my wife because she is my wife. I love her. But anyways, I want to say thank you to all of you for being such great adventuring players. You make my life so much easier and so much happier. I'm glad to know each and every one of you.
We all love you too, Sarah.
And Sarah, you are just such an amazing human being. I am so thankful to be able to call you family, and all the adventures that we have had.
We should also thank Sarah for all the hard work she's been putting into this.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Like,
I know,
100%. Seeing how much hard work is
Yeah.
on this, it's been amazing.
It's
Never known
The
about that
ideas that I
idea.
come up with and throw at you, you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, cool, let's just find a way.
So, considering that this is not even a beta campaign, this is a freaking alpha campaign. It doesn't even really exist yet. So, yeah.
This is actually still
There's a lot.
very alpha.
Yeah. This is
Oh,
this
yeah,
is going to
I'm
be a lot
so
going on.
This is the original trial
Yes.
as it's being built, and that's so exciting.
I remember when we first met and we were getting to know each other, and I remember you mentioning this and how many years you put into it, and even back then you were talking about your dreams and your goals, and then when you said that you were bringing it to life, I was like, about damn time. And you were like, you want to join in? And I was like,
So if we have any
I'm really excited.
So if we have any artists among our players or among our audience, we would love to see your fan art if you so desire to provide any. We will definitely share those if you allow us to via our streams. Let's see. One of the other things I've been thinking about, just like a thought on my brain, no actual plans for it, but once we get much deeper into the campaign, possibly going back and referencing all of the storyline from now until whenever. And
Oh, yeah.
possibly turning it into a novelization.
Oh, yeah.
About the
And,
adventures of
oh dear.
this group.
And going back to, streaming, my goal is to get involved in streaming myself. So there might be a chance in the future or after game, discussions, after we do our games and other ideas that we're just throwing around. Because it's like a whole new world of awesome, and it's just so amazing.
Well, and I think, Sarah, at one point we had been discussing doing like introductory videos for the players and the characters to have as a resource, because it's so hard to get everything rolling in session 0 and all of that. But I think that was something that we had discussed.
Yes.
So hopefully those will be happening and going up on on the YouTube channel.
Absolutely. So
Soon.
if you guys are all amenable to it, we can possibly talk about scheduling, doing some interviews.
Yep.
You know, maybe you'll see familiar faces from our families of the fur kid variety. We don't know. Just
Am I gonna have to like bring my setup down and just have Cherish at some point
Oh yeah.
with me?
Definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Play the game on horseback.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
If anyone would let me do it, it would be Cherish.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Because
I
she is
could be sitting
the
outside
real
one
life
day,
unicorn.
Yeah.
hanging out with the dog. I mean, heck, I may have a goddess.
And
cat
of course,
in my
Lexi is
I don't
saying, I
know.
just need to bring Cherish upstairs with me. She's
hysterical.
when I last looked out the window, she was hanging out outside the window, staring out because she could hear my voice through the open
A
window.
dog with
so
hooves. An
she
oversized dog with
probably
hooves.
would. I don't know if she can make that staircase though. The barn
See, she
staircase
must
is
have.
sketchy. I don't think she can make the turn.
God.
But I'll have to see if I can wrangle something of the literal knight in shining armor on a white horse thing at some point.
You should.
You know, that's going to be a fun story to tell at dinner.
Now-
You have to explain to your parents, why was there a horse in the house?
Honestly,
Role play.
Mike,
Wait, don't
that
say
is
that.
that is not the weirdest thing that I have done. That's not the weirdest thing I have done. I don't think my parents would even question it that much. They'd be like, yeah, that tracks.
Than being
That
shirtless and scaly.
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
It's moderately. And y'all might regret me playing a character who actually has a voice.
You've been so quiet for so long.
No.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna side-eye Nicole all the time, just never saying anything, standing there. You know.
Right?
Well, it's Gray has fallen in with a very interesting group of people.
Oh, definitely. Just wait till you find out how interesting Gray is.
I am not intriguing whatsoever. I'm just a bystander.
Exactly.
Oh, getting True Sight at level 1. I've got questions. As a player, I have
no
questions.
answers.
As a character, you know, Freya has no idea. But as a player, I have questions.
Oh, yes.
No, well, you know. Apparently you didn't look at all the
but I'm-
options when you picked demigod.
Well,
Exactly.
I picked a very specific kind of demigod
Me too.
with
Not that Gray knows
very
that.
different build.
So, for our audience members, the demigod race is a new race that was developed that I kind of borrowed and modified a lot. And it is brand new for this campaign, so it is very unknown. It might actually be a little overpowered, but I will throw some overpowered monsters at them to
a little? A little?
You're gonna nerf us for rolling those ones.
So
We're gonna
so that
keep
actually is
saying
important. Is we already decided
and
to nerf
possibly-
that.
Yep.
And possibly because sometimes rolling one is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and so this
sometimes
is
I feel like the best
this
result is failing epically.
Yes.
when I was talking to Sarah earlier about nerfing that specific thing because it is kind of OP. It says you may choose to, which gives the player the RP option of saying, no, that nat 1 is going to be funny as all hell, and we're just going to go with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
You know, considering the fact that we're absolutely 100% at the mercy of the dice, and some of us have the most rotten luck, I would take any advantage I possibly can at this point,
yeah.
no matter how dirty it is.
Oh, yeah.
That's what Ambellina's gonna do. Because she, you know, being squishy, wizards are just like punching bags.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she definitely is going to be one of those scrappy little shits that's not gonna go down easy.
Exactly.
Or at least
Yeah.
that's the hope. The plan, if the dice doesn't kill me first. So, there's
Case in
that.
point.
Hit point rolls are really brutal at low levels. You're gonna sneeze on me and I'm gonna die.
Uh-huh.
I'm feeling kind of decent now that I'm not, quite as squishy. But yeah, it's level 1 is always scary because you're like 1 crit hit and I'm out and no one can help me.
We're just lucky all
There's
that guy
no
was
resurrection.
doing was running away and ignoring us. Because he could have
Pretty
sneezed
much.
at us, and we don't.
Probably.
Oh,
yeah,
I was definitely prepared for something along the lines of our first fight in Curse of Strahd, where
You almost died?
I didn't even make it through the first round the first time. I just got.
What was our
Yeah,
first
like-
fight? Was it werewolf?
Yeah, no,
It
just-
was
think
the
so.
dire.
Regular
It was
wolves.
the dire. wolf.
Direwolf.
Well, in the
Oh,
dire.
yeah.
wolf, yeah. That. Talreen saved our butts
Uh-huh.
because she was
I'm
able
pretty
to
sure I
bring me
tanked,
back
like,
up.
3 of them,
Yeah.
letting them hit me while I was killing the ones on other people,
Exactly.
Yes.
or not hit me because
So,
You know.
that one, I don't know what was worse, that fight or our freaking fight with the what were those things? The vampire
Tower
fiends or
fight?
whatever they were.
Mhm.
No. The freaking God, they're not like fully vampires, but they're like
Yeah,
spawn of
vampire
vampires.
spawns?
The vampire
Oh,
spawn.
yeah.
Oh, you mean the fight that I started by rolling double nat ones on a stealth check and falling down the stairs in my armor?
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
That caused
that
a
was
bunch
the
of them to
one.
pop out of caskets and
Yes.
freaking boxes in an attic.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
I think that was one of the few
Yeah.
times we got a little bit concerned.
I think that was when Mariva almost burned the building down with all of us
I'm-
inside.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure the only damage I took during that fight was from Varix's Arms of Hadar.
Sorry, I didn't have a choice.
Because none of the vampires could hit me somehow.
Yeah, the fun part
And then
is-
I noped out with the flying,
Yeah.
but
The fun part is Casey and I, we play Curse of Strahd in our Tuesday games, and the DM over there, which you guys have met, Steven, he's thrown a lot at us. A few of us have died a few times.
Oh no.
Oh, I haven't
Oh,
died
no.
at all.
Not yet. We'll see if we can change that. Bring you down with the rest of us.
He's literally working on it, but I've been taunting him to do
This is
so.
true. This is true.
Oh my goodness.
I think I've intentionally killed anyone.
Not intentionally. At least not that we'll admit to.
Yeah, well, the one that I
No
killed, I
DM
play
will
when I know
admit that
better.
they're trying to kill you.
Yeah.
That is something I have learned.
Yes.
If it's not a deadly challenge, it's not a challenge whatsoever.
well, there was that first actual boss fight that you had planned, Sarah, that was over in the first round. That was supposed to be most of the session with the Shadow Demon.
I remember that one. That was the.
I remember that one too.
Yeah, that was Casey. That was the fight with the demon.
We
in
nuked
the
that poor thing.
attic of the orphanage.
Oh, right.
We, I'm pretty sure Evandriel just holy Nova it, almost by
I'll say
accident.
is
I critted-
minor deadly.
Yeah, I critted a guiding bolt, and so doubled the damage, and then the dang thing was vulnerable to radiant damage, so that doubled it again, and it just kind of.
Uh-huh.
You
I don't
preached it
think
out of
we're talking about
existence.
nearly dying at a
I
low
don't think you
level.
gotta hit it.
No, I don't
Nearly
think it even got to hit anyone. It was just
Yeah.
blast. And then Evandriel standing there going, I did not mean to do that.
Well, let's put it this way. So far, our Curse of Strahd campaign has been, if the creatures don't kill us, the players themselves will.
True.
Cassie.
Oops.
I
Sorry.
don't think I've harmed anyone else outside of Mariva's weird fever dream where I killed half the party.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
That was
you easily
real.
forget about the exploding kitty.
That wasn't my
I've been waiting
fault.
for someone to
yeah.
bring that up. I'm waiting for
That
that.
was not
I knew
my
it was going to
fault.
come up eventually.
You almost
I was
killed
the
my
one
husband.
going around
Or
and
anyone.
stabilizing everyone after that, after having gotten blown up.
That was a big blowout,
You know what?
man.
One cast and suddenly the entire party expects me to kill them all. It's just
Should we also remind you about the guy that went through the mist?
discrimination.
There's only
No, we don't. We don't talk about that poor guard.
Wait,
What was
yeah.
his name?
We
He's
don't
got a
talk
name.
about Bruno.
It's not Robert Paulson. It was Bruno.
We don't talk
No, it wasn't
about
Bruno. What was his name?
All right, guys. Yeah, in a month.
All right.
Bye.
So
Yeah,
we'll see you
yeah.
all next time.
Oh god.
All right. So,
Next month.
See you guys.
Good
Yeah.
night.